I just got out of the Predator Badlands premiere, and wow, there's a lot to unpack. This is Dan Trachtenberg's latest entry in the Predator universe, and if you're a fan of Prey or the larger alien Predator mythology, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Just a quick reminder up front, this review will stay completely spoiler-free. I'll only talk about stuff that's been officially confirmed by the studio, shown in trailers, or discussed by the director himself. Later this week, I'll be doing full breakdowns, an ending explained video, a deep dive on all the Easter eggs, and a look at where the Predator and Alien universes might be heading next. So if you're brand new, be sure to subscribe and hit those notifications because we have a ton of Predator content coming. All right, let's get into it. The Predator franchise has had one of the wildest journeys in sci-fi history, starting all the way back in 1987 with Arnold Schwarzenegger's original Jungle Hunt. It's been through every tone you can imagine: gritty horror, military action, buddy comedy, interplanetary deathmatch, and even full-on monster mashups like Alien vs. Predator 2004. But the past few years have seen something of a revival, especially after Dan Trachtenberg's Prey in 2022. That film stripped everything back. One Predator, one human warrior, set in the 1700s Comanche Nation, pure survival. It was small, intense, and smart. It showed audiences that this franchise didn't have to rely on overblown spectacle. It could be grounded and character-driven again. Now, with Predator Badlands, Trachtenberg is taking a completely different swing. This isn't a sequel to Prey in the direct sense. No Amber Midthunder reprising Naru, but it is part of what feels like his larger Predator trilogy of sorts, connected by tone and philosophy. He said in interviews that every Predator story should focus on a different hunt, a different culture, and a different corner of the timeline. And Badlands definitely delivers on that promise. Expectations were high coming off Prey. Could Trachtenberg go bigger without losing that intimate feel? Could Disney's ownership of the Fox catalog give the Predator a wider reach without watering it down? And, maybe most importantly, would it stay true to the spirit of the original, that primal sense of hunter versus hunted? Let's talk about what we got. From what's been revealed publicly, Predator Badlands is set much later in the timeline than we've ever been before, beyond Prey, beyond Predators, and even beyond Alien Romulus. This is a story that stretches into deep space and explores parts of Yautja Predator culture we've never seen on screen. Our main character is Dek, a young Yautja warrior on his first official hunt, basically his rite of passage. The Yautja are all about proving themselves through combat, but here the stakes are even higher. Dek's trial takes place on what his clan believes to be the most dangerous planet in the known universe. It's a mythic world, one so deadly that no hunter has ever returned from it. So right away, the setup feels very different from any previous Predator movie. Instead of following a group of humans being stalked by a predator, we're following the Predator himself. The audience sees the story from his perspective, which flips the usual dynamic on its head. The human, or rather humanoid, element this time comes from the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, who are very much the villains again. No surprise there if you've seen any alien movie ever. The company has dispatched several synthetic androids, led by a massive AI known as Mother, to capture and weaponize alien life forms. Think of it as Alien's Special Weapons Division, but even colder and more calculating. Among those synthetics are Thea and Tessa, both played by Elle Fanning. Thea is the kinder, more curious model, the one we see in trailers helping Dek, riding on his back Empire Strikes Back style like C-3PO on Chewbacca. Tessa, on the other hand, is the ruthless one, loyal to Weyland-Yutani and its mission at any cost. Dek's and Thea's paths cross in unexpected ways, and together they have to navigate this planet's relentless gauntlet of monsters, traps, and rival hunters. Without spoiling anything, their journey becomes about proving themselves to their families, their creators, and ultimately themselves. It's as much about identity and purpose as it is about survival. Like I said before, Badlands is not a full-on Alien vs. Predator movie. No xenomorphs show up. But there are light crossover touches, mostly background references like Weyland-Yutani logos, mentions of the company's past expeditions, and the inclusion of synthetic characters. Disney seems to be keeping the Alien and Predator storylines separate for now, but Badlands shows that they clearly exist in the same universe. Let's start with Dek, our lead Yautja, played by Demetrius, newcomer in the franchise. I'll be honest, I didn't know much about him going in, but he absolutely nails it. This isn't just a stunt or creature performance. There's real emotion here, through body language, subtle vocalization, and expressive movement, Demetrius manages to give Dek a sense of personality that previous predators have rarely had. In earlier films, the Yautja were terrifying but distant, basically the monster in the shadows. Here, we actually live inside their culture. We see the hierarchy of the clan, the rivalries, even the small gestures of pride and frustration that make Dek feel like a fully realized character. There's even a surprising amount of spoken Yautja dialogue. Yes, entire pages of it. Then there's Elle Fanning, pulling double duty as Thea and Tessa. It's a tough job playing two roles that are literally opposite sides of the same coin, but she brings a ton of nuance. Thea's optimism and curiosity play perfectly against Tessa's cold logic. You can tell Fanning had fun switching between the two. Thea provides a lot of the movie's comic relief, while Tessa brings the menace. Their interactions with Dek are some of the best parts of the movie. There's a surprisingly touching bond between Thea and Dek. Not romantic, but deeply emotional. Both characters are essentially outsiders, trying to prove their worth within rigid systems. It's a clever thematic mirror that elevates the movie beyond simple monster mayhem. The supporting Yautja cast also deserves credit. Trachtenberg uses the clan dynamics to show us what life on Yautja Prime is like, their codes of honor, the trials they must pass, and the personal rivalries that push them to extreme lengths. For longtime fans, seeing this side of Predator society is a treat. Visually, Predator Badlands is a stunner, though not without its rough edges. The world design of this new planet feels truly alien, filled with strange landscapes, bioluminescent flora, and brutal wildlife that looks like it came out of an artist's fever dream. There's a tactile quality to the Yautja technology. Their armor, weapons, and ships all feel heavy and functional, like they could actually exist. That said, there are moments where the CG gets a little too glossy, particularly in wide shots or fast-moving sequences. You can tell when the production leaned heavily on digital environments. It's never bad, but it sometimes pulls you out of the immersion. Looking at you, Disney post-production pipeline, sometimes less is more. Tonally, the movie strikes a nice balance between sci-fi adventure and character drama. It's more introspective than you might expect. Not a wall-to-wall action piece, but one that builds momentum as Dek and Thea progress through the planet's trials. Trachtenberg described it as his version of The Raid, Redemption, and that makes sense. It's essentially a gauntlet film, a series of escalating encounters that force the characters to adapt or die. Theme-wise, Badlands dives deep into identity, honor, and rebellion. Dek is trying to prove himself to his clan. Thea is trying to prove she's more than her programming. Both are caught between tradition and individuality, a recurring motif across the Predator and Alien franchises. The score complements that mood perfectly. It's atmospheric, heavy on percussion, and occasionally dips into tribal rhythms that evoke the 1987 original. There's even a subtle musical nod to Alan Silvestri's iconic Predator theme. Blink and you'll miss it, but it's there. This is where the hardcore lore fans will have a field day. The movie is packed with Easter eggs and callbacks. Some obvious, some blink and you'll miss it. The Weyland-Yutani presence connects directly to the Alien franchise, though only in the background. You'll see familiar logos, hear AI designations like Mother and Bishop, and even catch references to the company's obsession with bioweapons. These are the breadcrumbs that remind us these universes share a lineage, even if they're not fully intersecting yet. There are also deep cuts for longtime Predator fans. The movie pays tribute to everything from Predator 2's trophy room scene to Prey's flintlock pistol callback. There's even a Jean-Claude Van Damme Easter egg, a fun nod to the fact that Van Damme was originally supposed to play the Predator in 1987 before being replaced due to costume and design changes. Trachtenberg clearly respects the lore, but isn't afraid to expand it. He's building a future where each Predator movie can stand alone, yet fit into a larger mythos. Different hunts, different eras, different species. It's a smart approach, especially under Disney, which seems cautious about diving headfirst into a full Alien vs. Predator crossover just yet. Let's start with the positives. The biggest strength of Badlands is its perspective. Seeing the world through the Predator's eyes makes everything feel fresh again. For decades, we've been watching humans run and scream. Now we get to see the emotional and cultural side of the hunter. It doesn't make the Yautja any less fierce, it just makes them more complex. The performances are excellent across the board. Demetrius's physicality and expressiveness elevate Dek into one of the most memorable Yautja ever, and Elle Fanning absolutely carries her dual roles. The chemistry between Dec and Thea adds genuine heart. The world building is another win. Every frame feels packed with history. Yautja rituals, hieroglyphs, weapon designs, even snippets of their language. Fans who love Predator lore are going to eat this up. Now for the drawbacks. The most noticeable issue is the PG-13 rating. For a Predator film, that's a risky move. The violence is still intense, but because most of the characters are aliens or synthetics, there's no red human blood. And apparently, the MPAA only really cares if the blood is red. So instead of guts and gore, we get sparks, green fluids, and mechanical dismemberments. It's cool visually, but it never hits the visceral level of Prey or Predator, 1987. That toned-down brutality makes some scenes feel less dangerous. Without squishy humans to root for, or watch explode, the tension naturally drops a bit. You're not as afraid for anyone, even when the action ramps up. There's also a bit too much dialogue between Yautja characters. Some fans will love the deep lore exposition, others might find it slows down the pace. I personally liked the insight, but I get why old-school fans, who prefer their Predators silent and mysterious, might see it as a step too far. And yeah, a few moments of the CGI stand out, especially compared to the grounded realism of Prey. So, where does Predator Badlands fit in the grand hierarchy of the franchise? For me, Prey is still the gold standard of modern Predator storytelling. Tight, intense, and emotionally resonant. Badlands doesn't quite hit those same highs, but it's still a strong entry that pushes the mythology forward. If I had to rank Trachtenberg's Predator films so far, it'd go Prey, near-perfect reinvention of the franchise. Predator Badlands, ambitious and imaginative, just held back by rating and pacing. Predator, killer of killers, solid ideas, less refined execution. Badlands feels like the second act of Trachtenberg's Predator vision. It expands the scope, adds depth to Yautja culture, and sets the stage for whatever comes next. Maybe a full-blown exploration of Yautja Prime, or a long-awaited crossover with the alien universe. It's not quite the lean, primal masterpiece that Prey was, but it's still one of the best Predator stories we've had since the 80s. If I had to give Predator Badlands a score, I'd go with a solid 8 out of 10. It's visually ambitious, emotionally engaging, and respectful of the franchise's history, even if it occasionally stumbles under the constraints of its PG-13 rating and digital-heavy effects. For longtime fans, it's worth seeing on the big screen just for the lore and cultural world-building alone. For newcomers, it's accessible enough that you don't need to have seen Prey or Alien Romulus to understand what's going on. But if you have, you'll appreciate the subtle ways these universes echo each other. So that's my non-spoiler review of Predator Badlands. I think Dan Trachtenberg continues to prove he's the perfect guy to shepherd this franchise into its next era. Like I said before, it's not quite Prey-level perfection, but it's a bold and entertaining step forward. Tell me what your rating is in the comments below. Do you think it's the best Predator movie since the original, or do you still put Prey on top? And please, don't post spoilers until later this week once everyone's had a chance to see it. I'll be posting my ending explained video and full Easter egg breakdown later this week. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.